Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. And yeah, as we getting to close to the end of the Four Queens Paradigm Chess 30 tournament. It's the second last match, and we have Khadidja playing Robyn in this one. It's the last for the both of these players, and both of them have definitely got something still to play for. It seems like everybody still has a chance to get a good position. And of course, welcome to my new co-host for these last two matches, current SA champion Daniel Barish, FIDE Master Daniel Barish. Welcome, Daniel.
Hi,
Uh,
Kelvin. It's good to be here.
Great to have you. I just want to say I said Daniel 3 times over there, so yeah, I need to maybe rehearse my intro. But anyway, welcome. It's good to have you, Daniel. And yeah, let's see. 15 minutes aside with a 15-second increment for you. Those of you who have just joined, press the follow button. If you can't type in the chat box, if you can't press the follow button, just sign up at Twitch's homepage. I'm sure there's a sign up button somewhere at the top as well. So just sign up. It's quick, it's free, it's easy. And then you come back and press the follow button. And then you can join us, chat with us live, ask us questions, join in the fun. All right, so Khadidja's got the white pieces for this one. Robyn's got the black pieces. This position that you guys see right now was the how the last game ended between Jesse and Lauren. So Jesse getting a nice discovered attack there at the end, which means that the rook on f1 is giving check, and the dragon bishop on d5 is actually going to capture the queen on e3 as well. So another ugly dragon tactic over there. So that's, I think, the theme for the tournament is watching out for those dragons. So yeah, so let's generate a new position. So this is just to clean up the board. It was the same position as last, and then we're going to generate a new one. And again, we see the two dragons next to the king. But okay, there's 30 options. So we're going to choose another one, ladies, if you find with that, because we've seen these double dragons next to the kings the whole time, a couple of times. So let's just select the next random position. And I don't think we've seen this one. Are both of you fine? You haven't played this before?
I'm fine.
Okay, great stuff. So it seems like the dragons are surrounding the queen this time. So yeah, so if you are ready, then you can mute your computer so that you don't hear us. And Khadidja, you can start as soon as you are ready. So good luck to the both of you. And we're going to be off. So Daniel, so we at the business end of the tournament. Standings right now, Lauren Wallenberg is leading by a whole point. She's on 3.5 points. And then Khadidja Latreche, of course, she is a point behind. So it's important for her. Khadidja wants to get that first spot. There are tie breaks if there's a joint position or the same score. So Khadidja would like to win this game in order to go into a tie break, hopefully for her. But it all depends on the last game as well. And of course, Robyn would like to win this game to go past Khadidja, and actually that would actually secure her sister first place already, because Khadidja is the only one that can catch up to Lauren.
Yeah.
Lauren and Jesse, of course, playing in the last game. So lots of permutations, but here we go. D4, D5, and knight to G3. So we've had a lot of a lot of suggestions on what you should look out for in the beginning. Daniel, what do you look out for? What do you try to achieve in this PC30?
I mean, probably the first thing to look for is to try and find out a way how to activate the bishops, and just try and find out a way how to develop them naturally. So I think d4 makes a lot of sense here. I probably would have played c4 immediately afterwards, but that's probably because I also like the queen's gambit in normal chess.
Yes.
It's already quite interesting that you can't play like c4, c6. Assuming the knight g3, knight f6 weren't played, because c4,
Yeah.
c6, c takes d5, there's a pin already.
With a pin on the
Lots
C
of things
file.
to look out for, yeah, already.
Okay, so you would say immediately trying to open up those dragon bishops.
Yeah, I think especially with white, you've got some sort of initiative, so it's probably best to try and make use of it as quickly as possible.
All right, C3 is on the board, and Khadidja has opened up both the dragon bishops in that way. we did mention earlier, some of us and myself has also recommended that you don't get out the dragon bishops too early though, because they can be targets. But creating space and giving them options, I definitely agree with.
Yeah. I don't necessarily mean like developing them immediately, but rather just opening lines.
Just giving them the options to move freely.
Yeah.
And of course, the general principles like controlling the center seems to be logical. We've had some issues in some games where the queens don't get a chance to actually join the game, but it seems like this
G1 or something. Yeah.
Yes, but it seems like this position is a bit easier to handle.
Yeah. I mean, you can play knight f3 here and short castle without any problems.
Yes.
And should proceed like quite normally. I wonder if we'll be seeing e4 at some point.
I think that's also a good idea, actually, trying to establish a piece in the center after an exchange of a pawn. So I definitely think that e4 is a good idea.
I think e4 is probably going to be coming quite soon. Maybe after knight f3 and castles.
Maybe even immediately. Could be a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, even immediately could work. So, you know, black won't want to allow e5 after e4.
Yes.
So probably have to take on e4.
So
I think space in these with the dragon bishops is particularly important because I mean with knights also it's very important, but since the dragon bishop is effectively like a knight and a bishop combined, space is I think just as important, even more important than normal chess.
Indeed, I agree. So perhaps if white goes knight f3, maybe c5 is on the cards for black, just to kind of
maybe
put more pressure on. Okay, dragon to d3 has been played now, and Khadidja is stopping c5 because the dragon on d3 is indirectly eyeing the c5 square and e5.
Yeah.
So what should black do? Should black put her f8 knight on d7 or g6? That's maybe a big question to ask. d7 it covers c5 and e5, g6 maybe your king feels a bit safer.
I mean, automatically, I'd probably say g6 in position, but like you said, I think knight d7 does support c5, which is quite important for black here.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to judge. I mean, sometimes if knight g6, white could possibly play h4. I don't know if it's that effective, but something we could, I guess, consider. And
I think c5 definitely the way to go for black here.
C5.
Trying to arrange that. Yeah, either play b6 in the c5 or knight d7 and c5.
D7,
so I think once e4 comes for white, it becomes a little unpleasant for black.
Yes.
Just due to lack of space.
So yeah, opening stage very important.
Yeah.
The dragon to e7 is played, just developing quietly. I'm expecting e4.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I mean, it's not maybe the end of the world, Daniel, because after e4, if black captures a couple of times, the dragon ends up on e4, but we could possibly play c6 afterwards, and at least black's pieces seem to have natural developing ideas.
I mean, if you take on e4, it's not really so much of a problem, but if you allow e5, then it becomes very unpleasant for black already.
Yes, with the amount of space.
Yeah. So I wonder, knight f3 or e4?
Yes, that is the question.
Yeah. I wonder.
And it's
how's the time? The time situation is.
It's 15 minutes aside.
Each. I mean, like now,
Yeah, 13 minutes aside. So both of them have used about 2 minutes of the original time. But of course, the 15-second increment does play a big role. By the way, Daniel, I've explained this to everybody. But the 15 seconds kicks in afterwards. You make your move.
Yes.
And then when your move hits, when it comes to your side again, then you get your 15 seconds. Can be a bit confusing. That's how it works.
I see f3 was played preparing e4. But actually, I didn't see that coming. I mean, that makes a lot of sense as well. I didn't really consider that. But because it makes a lot of sense.
Then you are
probably even better than immediate e4.
Yes, then you can go e5 if black doesn't capture. If black captures, you've got this huge center.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I think c5 needs to be played.
Yes, just to
soonish.
try and liquidate perhaps. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
that great, but c5 and then e4, and you capture on d4, capture on c1, give your opponent the open file, but perhaps an endgame is better to play than going into this middle game with such a huge center for white.
Yeah. Also, the option of playing is c5, e4, c4. I'm not sure how great it is, but it's definitely an option. I think you can maybe even like long cast or something as black.
Yeah. But okay, on the other hand, you could, after e4, take on e4, pawn takes e4, and go e5. Because black has just played knight f to knight 8 to d7, and black could thrust back with e5, I guess.
Yeah.
And then c6 perhaps. But white does definitely look good here with potential big center. And I must notice that Khadidja did something similar in the previous game against Robyn. Also building up such a huge center with in the previous game she had c6 and d5 and f6, and eventually she broke with e5 as well. So it seems like Khadidja is forming her own theory when it comes to the pawn structure.
Yeah. I mean, all the usual sort of principles of chess apply here as well. Most of them, at least.
Most of
Like
them at least,
center,
yeah.
space, quick development, all the
Yes.
usual stuff is still present.
Pawn to e4 just played. So already maybe an important moment here for Robyn.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure like how to react here. But like, I think you said e5 earlier as an option, but I think you're losing material there, or at least at the moment you are, without c6.
Oh, I see, because the dragon is
yeah.
eyeing the e5 square as well. Aha.
Yeah.
Ah, that's the issue there. So that is not possible. So yeah, difficult decision here.
I mean, e5 is on its way, and then knight g8 is forced, which is not ideal at all. So I think I'm actually not sure what to do now. Assuming you have to take an e4 first.
Yeah, thanks on e4 was played. Welcome Mapung Gubwe in the chat box as well, one of our commentators. Yes, and he says maybe e5
Nice.
hard to play as the dragon is on d3, looks good for white. Yes, so that's what we're thinking of. Robyn just played took on e4, but now she's striking back with c5. So interesting. So she's allowing pawn to e5, but then the knight will probably jump to d5, and you don't know how long you want to be chasing the knight, because pawns don't move backwards. So, but white has got the big center that she wanted.
Yeah. I think the reason obviously you're taking on e4 is to clear the d5 square for the knight. Otherwise, after e5 and knight g8 is forced.
Yeah.
Now, I guess I wonder what the next couple moves are going to be for black, trying to unravel here. I assume castling is maybe on the cards, but also things maybe looking a little bit hairy on the king's side. If white plays e5, and then there's some attacking possibilities there, I think.
Yeah, so black needs to be very wary about castling there. The dragon bishop on d3 already eyeing h7. And of course, with the e5 move, you always get rid of that very important defensive piece on f6. So Khadidja playing the sensible and very natural knight to f3. Welcome to Kitonsky in the chat box. Let's go, Kitonsky says. So yes, you're just in time for the last two matches. Very exciting stuff. We've just seen fire on the board, and this game is also poised to be exciting. Knight f3, what should black do here? Black, we've seen a lot of swings in the game. One side seems really good, and then the other side suddenly is good, and then it can swing again. So I think the key is to just stay in the game. Even if it looks bad, things can happen. So Robyn needs to just stay in the game. So it takes some nerves of steel. Mapugove says e5, then knight h5 was interesting. Instead of knight f3, I guess e5 and then knight h5. Yes, immediately turning on the heat on the g7 square.
Yeah, so I was saying, like the king's side is looking quite shaky there for black at the moment after e5, or when e5 is played. Also, e5 shuts down the bishop or the dragon bishop on b8. So yeah, I'm looking for ways to try for black to try to sort of stem the tide here. If black plays e5 himself, I think he can. He wouldn't lose material, but knight f5 would be devastating there.
Yes.
Um,
So yeah, and if we take on d4, I know it's an ugly end game to give so much,
d takes d4,
and then queen takes queen.
I mean, yeah, maybe that is one of the better options. At
Rook
least
takes, and you
the
castle out
kingside
of it.
attack is not materializing after that.
I'm assuming that there's no huge attack without the queens, but I mean there's still 2 dragons on the board, so
Yeah.
there could still be chaos. But seems like that could be. It should be an alternative. Yeah.
Also, how do you develop the bishop on b8? Do you play b6 then bishop c6, or what do we do here?
Yeah, that is also a troublesome dragon over there.
No, there's actually maybe b6 and then bishop a6 to try and trade off the bishop on d3, which I think quite a decent looking idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
actually, took
C
on
takes D was
d4,
played. C takes D and then castling. So interesting. So Robyn is. I would, if I was white here, I would probably think about moving the queen out of the way and just keeping the queens on the board. White's got so much space.
Yeah.
You can play rook c1 if you really want to. Also, just
yeah,
take everything.
rook c1 already looks very unpleasant for black here. So,
Yeah.
where does the queen go? d8. I mean, you can't really block the attack, as far as I can see.
Queen d2 perhaps. Mapum Guver suggested
queen d2,
pawn to c4 and then e5 by black instead of c takes d and then castling. c4 hitting the dragon. And then the dragon won't be protecting the e5 and then e5. Perhaps that was also an idea, yes. That seemed very interesting.
Yeah.
It would have been a more closed game.
Yeah. But I think the problem maybe with playing e5 in any situation there was the weakened f5 square.
Yeah.
Knight f5, the bishop on e7 is attacked. I'm not really sure what happens there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was looking at c4 earlier though. Before e4 was played by white. I think c4 and b5 is maybe given some counterplay on the queen side.
Yeah.
Now, yeah.
So Khadidja also just decides to castle. So she will be happy with just taking the c file after a capture on c1. I thought we could maybe go for more with queen d2. But can black go for this?
Yeah.
Can black play queen takes c1, rook takes c1? Does black have a decent continuation after that? The dragon on b8 is the
I'm
main
still looking for a
problem.
way to sort of unravel that bishop on b8. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, bishop on b8 is an issue. Well, maybe I think now, actually no, you can't play bishop f4.
Or
That will just stop the piece.
maybe you could go knight b6 and then plan to play dragon to d7. But still, as soon as the dragon lands on d7, then you have rook c7 with issues.
Yeah.
So tough position, I think, here for black. Robyn needs to do a bit of untangling here.
Yeah. I think this also just shows like how important space is in positions with dragon bishops.
Yeah.
There's no comfortable way to really unravel here, as far as I can see at the moment.
And again, this e5 move is also looming at the right moment, because then h7 will really be hot. So
also e5, knight e5, then maybe knight e4, knight e6, because you can't take the knight in d6. There's no bishop takes d6 because you just lose control like that. So yeah, not sure. Has queen takes c1 been played yet? Not as far as I can see.
No, it's still black to play. I think black needs to bail out and go queen takes c1, takes on c1 and knight b6, and then plan the next move.
Yeah, I think I agree. Yeah. That's probably the best solution at the moment.
Okay, pawn to e5 is on the board. Okay, so But now the knight f5 move looks so dangerous, like you've mentioned so many times. Yes, Mapungove also
Yeah.
agrees that black should have maybe just exchanged and tried to defend. But e5, knight f5, what does black do? Can you go perhaps
I think
after
bishop
knight f5, dragon
bishop
takes?
d8 is
Okay, so I'm trying to be optimistic here in the sense of instead of bishop d8 or dragon d8, let's take the knight and go e4.
oh, and then e4. Okay, yeah.
And then the dragon drops back. We take on f3. But still, the two knights won't be enough. Even black needs to give up a pawn for that.
I don't think so.
So knight f5, dragon d8, you say? Oh, but that knight is so
Yeah.
beautiful there on f5.
Yeah.
I can't see black
I
tolerating the
think
knight
maybe
for too long.
Yeah, I think like you said, bishop takes f5 followed by e4 is probably better. Try to free pieces at least.
And Robyn goes in for it. She senses that she can't just play back. The knight on f5 is too strong. So dragon takes f5. Surely pawn takes dragon and then pawn to e4. Then maybe white has white should have a nice dragon move because you don't need to recapture with that same dragon on f3. You could play dragon on d1 takes f3 and then dragon would also be posted well. So after e4, maybe dragon b4 or dragon c4. I think white has some good options here.
f4.
Yeah, no, I
So
agree
what's
with
the
you.
material count after this? Looks like it's a bishop and pawn,
Versus
dragon
two
bishop and
knights.
pawn versus two knights.
Yeah, so I would probably give white like extra 2 pawns. I am agreeing with Mapungove in the chat. He says good decision by Robyn. I mean, what else? So yeah, that's the best practical decision. But like you were asking Daniel, I
Yeah.
think I would estimate white being about 2 pawns up, 2 points up. Since I would say the dragon bishop is about 6 points worth, maybe sometimes 7, but 6 is decent.
Yeah.
So black does have to give up another pawn to get that second knight. And dragon b4, the dragon looks
We
very
see bishop
nice.
b4 there, dragon b4.
Yeah. So pawn takes
Not
f3
threatening
looks...
anything there as far as I can see for the moment though.
Yeah, doesn't threaten
Because
anything.
dragon e7 isn't a fork.
Yes. It's not even check, so...
Yeah.
So takes on f3, dragon takes f3, and what then?
Yeah, what then?
Because the only way the knights are going to stand a chance against the dragon is if they have good outposts. And black has no nice squares in the
d5.
center. Yeah. So Khadidja is
I
in the
think
front
d5 you have to try and arrange the knight to d5.
Maybe knight
Play
b6.
Knight b6, knight d5 somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps immediately now after dragon takes f3, knight b6.
Yeah. Although the issue then is that queen takes c8, rook takes c8, then dragon takes b7.
Ooh, okay.
So material is dropping there as far as I can see.
Yeah. It's difficult, really difficult for black. The dragon on b8 still doesn't have a good square. Maybe dragon c7.
Yeah, maybe dragon c7 followed by knight b6, d5.
But the problem with that, if you place your dragon in front of your queen on the same file, then white just simply develops the queen and threatens rook c1.
The rook c1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Vision Zuga says, maybe a5, hitting the dragon bishop on b4.
That actually is probably the best suggestion that I can see right now. Try and disrupt something and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Get
A5
the
then
dragon
looks
and
like at
I
least
don't
a
know.
fighting move. After A5, maybe let's say we just drop back to A3. Does black have did black improve? Maybe the rook on A8 is not stuck at least.
I was thinking rook a6 followed by rook c6, but again it's too slow because queen takes c8 followed by dragon
Yeah.
takes on b7.
Dragon to C7 is played, so maybe Robyn wants to play dragon B6 perhaps. Or yeah, something like that. After the queen develops from C1, the dragon needs to move, or the queen. But yeah, it's at least keeping the queens on the board, trying to keep things
Yeah, so
possible.
queen d2, maybe then knight d5. Knight d5 at least has some threat there.
Queen D2, knight D5, but both
Oh,
dragons
that's
are eyeing the
dropping
D5.
material. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, my
that's
bad.
not possible.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, so
I mean,
Susan
maybe then
Sugar
a5
says
followed by knight d5. I don't know.
A5 followed by knight D. Yes, maybe that's necessary. We need to just check where the dragon on B4 can go. So like Susan Sugar says, it's trying to pick up a tempi. Maybe there is something to it. So, but okay, what else can Khadidja think of here besides moving the queen? It's looks like the natural option. But what
Yeah.
else? Doesn't seem
I
like
don't think
many
there's
other
too much.
options, eh?
Yeah.
So just where to put the
I
queen.
don't think there's yeah.
Queen D2.
I don't think white should really prove too much here.
Yeah.
She's got a comfortable material advantage, can sort of just
Yes.
develop, trade down, and try and win the game like that. Well, whereas black has to try and couple something here.
Yes. Queen D2 on the board. Rook C1 is a big threat. Perhaps A5. But then again, then knight D5 doesn't have a big threat, eh? So then Rook C1 can come anyway. So either dragon to B6, or dragon to B5, or you have to move the queen.
Yeah. Maybe a5, say bishop a3, and then dragon, or bishop dragon, bishop d5. At least try to deal with that threat of rook c1. Then maybe with the two knights sort of blockading on d5 and it's f6, then maybe you can blockade on the d4 pawn as well. Maybe there's some chances there.
Interesting, yeah. Maybe
Yeah,
that's the way to go.
Seems decent.
Yeah, white might have to sack something to dislodge those knights. A5 on the board, so Robyn finds something in this desperate situation. So that's maybe something that she can try to do to kind of like build a fortress. In the chat, they're saying once black gets something on d5, maybe it holds. Yeah, we're looking at that. Dragon to d3 was played. Dragon to b6.
I think once you get sort of blockade going there with two knights, d5 and f6 or b6,
it will be difficult to dislodge.
Sort of, yeah.
So there's a pin on the d pawn. Of course, the dragon on f3 is defending it. But black could look forward to perhaps playing knight d5 next, or dragon d5, one of the two. Rook ac1, very natural. Black needs to watch out for the b7 pawn that's could possibly hang. So is queen b8 possible? Queen b8, dragon to f4. Then queen a7.
Queen
maybe
b8. Yeah, queen a7. I'm looking at trying to target the d4 pawn like that.
Yeah. So Robyn trying to hold on here. Khadidja is looking good, material wise. And Khadidja has a nice advantage on the clock as well. She's got 8.5 minutes. Robyn's got three, but more than. Okay, Robyn's on 4 minutes. Dragon to f4 was played. So probably queen to a7. Does white have anything nasty after queen a7? Doesn't seem like it, but the bishops just look good.
Yeah.
covering a lot of squares. But in fact, right now they can't go forward in dragon-like style because the f5 pawn is stopping the dragon on f4, and the dragon on f4 stopping the dragon on f3 from moving like a young horse. But they can go sideways. Queen a7 on the board. A bit of pressure on the d4 pawn. So black should probably think of putting a rook on d8 at some point.
Yep. I think the problem now for black though is that there's nothing really to do with knight on d7. There's no way to try and get a decent square for it.
Yes.
b6 is taken by the dragon, so there's no real chance of getting the outpost on d5 now.
That's the issue. Yes.
White can play king h1 and then I don't know.
Maybe g4.
Maybe even start pushing the pawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, g4.
G4, G5.
I'm not sure. I just I don't see anything wrong with it, but
maybe you don't need to open up your king.
Nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing wrong with it, it seems. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think if it was just throwing the d pawn down the board now, it'd probably be quite strong.
That as well, yes. So the knights are going to have to prove a point in this game if black is to have anything from it. King h1 played by Khadidja solid, sidestepping the pin and releasing the pawn on d4, of course.
Yeah, looking at that g4, g5 idea, I don't really see how black can meet it comfortably. Maybe h6, but h6 doesn't. It's just sort of adding fuel to the fire there for white.
Yeah, that is definitely an idea that white can hold in reserve there if nothing works. Rook ac8, so black is happy to just maybe exchange some more. Okay, of course, white needs to be slightly cautious here as well. If white pushes d5, some moves like knight c5 could be there with a possible knight e4. Yeah. So we need to just keep an eye on the knights from the white perspective.
Yeah, in hindsight, I think, like you said, maybe just keeping the knight on d7 for a while is probably best. I mean, it's keeping the knight on d7 by just leaving the pawn on d4, sort of just trapping the knight there on d7.
Yeah. And dragon to d6 played looks very annoying for the black camp, but the dragon is not yet threatening. She's threatening dragon takes b7, so b7 is hanging. And Khadidja is making progress here. I think pieces look good.
But now knight d5 is possible.
Yes, right? just realized that actually. Knight d5. Do you go knight d5 or do you go dragon d5?
I'm also wondering now.
Because the two dragons together can also be strong. Seems like Robyn is eyeing the f8 rook, so maybe she's not spotting that square. But I think now is the moment. I mean, it seemed impossible to get that square. So
you've got to play something d5, I think. Soonish. Ideally.
Okay, so maybe she's thinking that if you put something on d5, right, and white exchanges on c8, then you could take on d5, and then take the something on take the rook on c8. Oh no, there's still a knight on d7.
Still a
knight on d7. Robyn down to 2 minutes.
So you're saying either dragon d5 or knight on d5.
Yes.
Which do you think is better?
Instinctively, I want to play knight d5 just to keep more pieces on the board, but the dragons are doing a lot of. Okay, knight to d5 played, but the dragons are putting a lot of pressure on the board. But
I think my preference is also knight d5 because it keeps pressure on d4.
Yeah, maybe that's the right decision. Now if black can get in, but you see black can't play knight 7 to f6 yet.
Yes, I see.
Because c8 will be hanging then.
Yeah, so maybe rook takes c1 and then knight f6.
Aha.
I think if we imagine, for instance, that the bishop or dragon bishop on b6 and the dragon bishop on d6 get exchanged, and you get that blockade going with
Yes.
knight on f6, knight on d5, I think it could become very interesting. And
Yes.
it's not like a simple for white to break through there because you can't exchange anything for you can't
Exactly.
exchange dragon bishop for anything. The knight's worth less, the rook's worth less, and both knights can be blockading the past d4 pawn, which is white's sort of main trump card there.
Yes. And
So
yeah, continue, Daniel. Continue.
I mean, that pretty much was the end of the thought there.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
how else to go.
I actually wanted to say, I don't know if it's since your arrival, you adding the positional flavor here to the games because all the games were so hectic, and now with a lot of tactics still on the board, it seems like a positional struggle between these two. We haven't
I mean,
seen
the
any of
tactics are
this.
coming soon. I can imagine. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of time.
But this is a heavy positional fight here in the center. Not like don't know if there's any other game that was a really. There has been position. Obviously, we fight for the center and so on, but the games tended towards just a heavy onslaught. But for now, the two kings are unbothered, and we are fighting for squares. And Khadidja is approaching 5 minutes. So there could be a bit of pressure on her as well, just to, how shall I say, confirm that she's winning. Because you don't want to have the material advantage and now see your opponent establish this blockade, and then you have to work all over again to really feel it. But of course, there's more pressure on black than on white right now.
So how would white go about breaking the blockade, saying it happens, assuming it happens? Rook takes c1, rook takes c1, knight f6. I think maybe your idea of g4, g5 then comes into play.
Yes, I think so.
So I'm not seeing any other ways.
I mean,
from
you
this
could
step
possibly
forward.
try to get a rook on c5 or e5 to dislodge. So let's say you go h3, clear any back rank issues, and then see if you can play rook c1, rook c5, or rook e1, rook e5, and potentially just sack.
Yeah. I don't think black will allow
Yeah.
the giving up the rook for both knights. So maybe you exchange sacrifice, but not for both.
Yes, and Mapungove was saying dragon to b5, but okay, then he realized the queen is not being attacked. Yeah. Okay, so white played the rook takes c8, and now rook c1. So Khadidja is offering an exchange, more exchanges over here. Can black capture on c1, queen takes c1? There'll be a back rank problem, eh? Because the d4 pawn will hang, but there's no way black can seriously take on d4 yet. So what to do?
I guess rook e8. You can't
Rook
allow
e8,
the
yeah.
trade here.
I agree. I think perhaps rook e8. It's just nerve-wracking with that dragon bishop breathing down there. The knight is kind of pinned. But okay, on the other hand, if you move the
rook
knight...
d8. Maybe rook d8. No, hindsight is actually better, like you
Rook
said.
d8, yes. But on the other hand, Daniel, if she does play rook e8, if you go knight f6, the rook is protected. So there's some possibilities, but I kind of like your rook d8 move as well. Because if rook e8, white could perhaps play rook e1. I don't know.
That knight on d5 would cover basically everything though. Or it will once the other pair of dragon bishops are exchanged.
Yes.
So they cover the entry point, c7, e7. I mean, it's not easy. It really isn't an easy way for white to break through after that.
Yeah. You get the feeling that white is gonna have to do some exchange sack at some point to see the advantage. Rook to c6 played. Rook to c6. So maybe what Robyn has in mind is if rook takes rook, then pawn takes, and the d5 square is very much secured. But it just, I don't know, it feels a bit weird, this rook c6.
Yeah, I don't like this one so much. I think that c6 will become a target later on, most likely. And also the e file is being left sort of undefended. Actually, well, I mean, the exchange is forced now, so...
Because the dragon is being hit on d6.
Yeah.
But
so rook takes d6 is, I think, expected here.
Can't
You know,
Khadidja just move the dragon?
Yeah, isn't the knight in, no, it's not. I was thinking dragon takes d5 here, because it's not defended anymore. But then rook takes d6, and you can't play. No, but is there some sort of no? I'm getting very
The
confused
knight
now.
can at
I
least
was, I
get
was
to
looking.
f8.
I was looking at dragon takes d5, rook takes d6, and then dragon e7. But that's not legal.
Ah,
Like rook and d6.
yeah.
I was just looking at rook c8 check then, but then
Knight
knight f8, like you
f8.
said.
And maybe also black has rook d8 in that line, perhaps. So, but yeah, it does look scary with the knight on d5. Robyn is on 29 seconds. I think she's getting a 15 seconds added afterwards, but she's very low on time. Khadidja now on 3 minutes. And maybe contemplating rook takes c6 is the natural move, but you can also perhaps just retract. She takes on d5. She takes on d5, so rook takes d6. Are we missing something nasty?
Yeah, I'm also wondering. I think I'm not sure what I'm missing here. So I had a look at this, but I don't think it works. And we'll see. So rook
So
takes d6, and then
black for the moment is a piece up.
yeah, I mean, if this doesn't like work out, it's a game changer, and looks like black is just maybe not winning, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
difficult to say if someone's winning in
Wow.
this Emerald 30, but
Yeah.
there's always some twist at the end.
Yeah,
But
we've
this,
seen some
like,
big twists. We've seen some
but
crazy
this is
stuff,
not
Daniel.
looking good for white if this doesn't work.
I don't know if Khadidja has something cooked up, but it might be an unnecessary step that she took here. Maybe
Yeah,
she
I think
missed
this might be
something.
oversight.
Maybe she saw maybe dragon to e7 like you, or
Yeah.
something.
That's what I think was missed.
But it's been some crazy games. For instance, Daniel, I think Lauren, the leader of the tournament, was winning in her last 2 games, and she was a rook up in the last 2 games, and she lost both. So
I mean, these things happen.
it happens, yes. There's so many swings up and down. So dragon to f4, and Khadidja now, probably can black just play a rook to c6, neutralize. Black does have this faint back
even rook
rank
takes
problem.
d4 now is devastating, isn't it? Because knight f8 is covering the back rank.
Rook takes d4.
So I think we've seen a big swing here.
Oh wow, she played rook c6. Yeah, I think Robyn is just happy that she actually got a piece over there. But rook takes d4 looks super strong, Daniel.
Yeah, I think rook takes d4 is virtually game over there because you get the dragon on f4 and then it's just normal chess game with a lot more material for black.
Yeah, Mapunguve also says that maybe she missed the fact that she couldn't check on e7. Rook e1 played, so now Khadidja is gonna try to apply pressure on the clock here against Robyn. Back rank issues, but black all of a sudden Robyn is a piece up for a pawn. And now she just needs to stabilize. Khadidja marches on with d5, and the rook on
almost
c6.
Queen v8 going.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hovering over Queen v8 for a second.
Yes. So that's the beauty of the online play. You kind of get a glimpse of what the players are thinking. There's no touch move, but on the other hand, so rook c8 is rook e7. Okay, white needs to be bold. White needs to keep black busy. For the moment, black doesn't have any pieces around the king. So maybe white should try to capitalize on that. I don't know how. The knight on d7 is the closest piece to the black king on g8. So how can a white initiate something? Rook to e7, knight to f6. But then what after that? Pawn to d6 perhaps.
Yeah, white, I mean, it's not easy to just stress something here, but white needs to try something.
Yeah.
Then rook e7 followed by dragon d6, I think is
White needs to
f7 at least.
White needs to just keep black busy, looking at the time situation.
Yeah, make some threats and hope to flag.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Mapunguve. Thanks for tuning in. He has to go, but yeah, it was lovely having you with us today.
See you.
Enjoy your day. All right. So rook e7 is on the board. Dragon to c4 immediately played. So Robyn had that move in mind, hitting the queen on d2. But can... Wait a minute. No, but it's not gonna work. An interesting idea. Yeah, it won't work. You could play rook takes knight. And then after dragon takes d2, dragon takes d2. Then you have the situation where the dragon fighting against the queen, but... And a pawn, actually.
Maybe
Ooh.
it's worth a shot.
And Robyn is a bit shaky here on the clock because she's moving back again. And it's giving Khadidja some time to rearrange the queen. Because dragon was coming from b6. But of course the time is an issue. Khadidja also now on a minute. Yes, Big Bad Brad, welcome. Yes, definitely Black should be thinking about knight f6, just consolidating on the king side, covering e8 as well. I agree. Maybe that was the way to go. But things are heating up here. Khadidja is on 43 seconds. Robyn is on 32 seconds. Of course, they have 15-second increment. But, okay. Khadidja must also not forget about her own back rank, though. So she goes queen d2, and there's a repetition thus far. This position has been reached for the second time. And Robyn now needs to find a way, if she wants to win, and break the repetition. Okay, so rook to e8. Is the knight not hanging? Why did Khadidja play d6? Oh, the knight's not hanging. The dragon was covering the knight. Ah, okay. So pawn to d6 played by Khadidja. So she wants a pass pawn on e7, possibly. And it's tense. Queen to c8. Protecting the knight more. Seems like that light square, the d7 square, is kind of okay for black now. But what can the dragon on f4 do for white here? Pawn to h3 is played.
Maybe dragon h5. I want to target that f7 pawn, which is quite weak.
Dragon to
h5. It's
h5.
unreal sort of soft target in black's position.
Dragon to h5, and then then you could play queen g5 after that even. Or f7. Yeah, you mean f7 is immediately hanging. So taking on e7 looks a bit shaky. You don't want a pawn that far.
I think we could be seeing another twist here very soon.
This is scary.
Not so clear anymore.
This is scary.
I mean, past pawns alone are pretty scary, but I mean, with the dragon bishops as well, it becomes even more scary.
But e7 is hanging. Black could play dragon c5 next.
They even are. Okay, let's just pretend that the dragon bishop b6 on b6 isn't there. Let's just pretend it's not there. And I mean, there's very interesting tactics like queen takes d7, queen takes d7,
and dragon
and then
d6.
Dragon d6.
Exactly.
Lots of interesting sort of tactics with this.
Khadidja goes queen to e2, protecting e7. I'm thinking dragon to c5. And Robyn spots it. She plays it. e7 is now hanging. Can Khadidja perhaps play dragon to d5 now? Covering.
Does look like it. I mean, does look like it's pretty much the only way to defend as far as I can see.
Dragon to g5 played. Knight f6 perhaps?
Yeah.
Knight f6. Knight f6 played.
Does look like e7 is falling now. Knight.
So once queen takes e7 is on the board, then it seems like black will have most of the issues solved.
So what does white try?
White just went queen to e5. So I mean, queen takes e7 should be good. Because queen b8 check, we just go queen f8. And everything is fine. So Khadidja down to 20 seconds. Robyn is on 37 seconds. And now she will just be making sure, you know, that e7 pawn is the last thing that's really bothering you. So queen e7 or dragon e7. Queen e7 looks very natural. And Robyn needs to make a decision quick. 20 seconds on the clock. Queen takes e7 played. Queen b8 check. Queen f8, and the dragon on c5 is still covering b7. So queen f8 should be... Oh my word. Queen e8. Why queen e8? Just looks a bit... If okay, dragon f6 doesn't work because it's not check.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe queen e8 is better because I mean the queen is just has more options there.
Yeah, definitely. I think like a couple of like mate threads coming if
Yeah.
the queen just moves away. There's like queen e1 check, then dragon g1.
So that's why
like
Khadidja
it's,
just exchanged. So we see an
Yeah.
end game here. Robyn now definitely in the front seat, an extra piece in the end game. And it's black to play dragon e4 seals it, Daniel, with a tactic there.
Yeah, that's
She
quite nice.
played h6, but she missed
Yep.
the dragon e4. Of course, both sides
dragon
are
e4 would
very
be
low on the
getting
clock.
over there.
Yeah, but still winning. She can just maybe get the knight out. Make sure everything is protected. Get the king out. Watch out for the dragon tactics. So she does that. She plays b6. a3 maybe hinting at pawn to b4 from Khadidja. Maybe knight d6 just threatening the dragon e4 check. Just
Yeah, I
simplifying.
was thinking the same thing. Let's try and trade off the dragons and then use the knight to win.
Okay, so knight f6 instead. Similar threat. Same threat. Pawn to b4 and now surely. And Robyn spots it. So dragon to e4 check. And now white is forced to swap off. And we reach a normal chess position where black is just a piece up. So not good for Khadidja right now. A minute on the clock for both sides. So Robyn just taking a time. I'll just take on b4 and start chasing that pawn, Daniel. We should...
This is
knight c3, knight
finished
a2.
soon.
Or knight c3, knight d5.
Yep.
King f8 played, okay. Knight c3 surely. After king f3 was played. Knight d2. Curious.
I don't think it changes too much. Although, like you said, I'd rather play knight f6, knight d5, and then just win the b pawn.
Just win the pawn, yes. Knight c4 check. So the knight and the king is doing their little dance over there. So white wants that pawn and knight to a3 secures the pawn. And surely the black king needs to join the discussion now. Khadidja is trying to block the black king by playing king d6. So you can take your time as black. You could play king e8. You could play almost anything. Because eventually you could play knight c2 and liquidate if you want to. King e8, h4. Maybe f6. G6 is played. But now f6. And then king d8. And yeah, surely white will run out of moves on the king side. And then we can just push the king backwards. Pawn to f6. Maybe king d8. You don't want the white still to play king c7, but even that, you can just play knight c2 and pick up the b pawn.
Yep.
So Daniel, are you also sharpening your blade for the dragons?
I haven't been doing much chess in the last week or two. I'll start soon. And look forward to playing again.
Yeah, I think there might be a
Any
nice
chess, I
tournament coming soon for the male section as well. But yeah, I'm pretty
Okay.
keen to play normal chess. I'm very like I'm dying actually to play.
Yeah.
So some exchanges on g5. White has just played king c6. King d8. So now we're gonna expect king d6. Yes. So there's some opposition, but black needs to just at some point decide. Okay, we're gonna change the position now. Knight c2 is possible. King c5 and
Yeah.
king d7, and then you just give up your
You
knight
can
for the
play-
b pawn.
Yeah. And knight c2, knight e3, knight takes g4, and then come back with the knight.
That as well. So there's many ways to skin a cat, or maybe in this
Yeah.
case to skin a dragon. But okay, there finally Robyn decides to do so. King c5, king d7, king takes pawn, and now you can still play king e6 first before you sack the knight. Just to squeeze out another tempo. Big Bad Brad says, nicely played, ladies. Good game. Yes, indeed. Robyn plays king e6. And this is actually very sad for Khadidja because she actually played a nice game to get the advantage. And just to blunder it like that with a one go, I'm going to give it to a dragon slip. We've been calling these dragon blunders, these dragon tactics, dragon slips, Daniel. So I'm expecting okay, so resignation. And yeah, I think that's maybe what she will say. But ladies, can you hear us?
Yes.
All right, well done, Robyn, for winning this one. Tough luck, Khadidja. It's my first question is a very tough loss there, Khadidja. Did you maybe do a dragon slip? Did you miss a dragon tactic? Because it seems like you were in control and you maybe missed a dragon move.
I thought it would have been checkmate. I missed the rock blocking the
d6, so you
Dragon
couldn't go
E7.
dragon e7. So it
Yeah,
wasn't.
I also missed that.
We
yeah.
expected
First.
that to be the case because I mean.
Yeah, I missed that one. But
Yeah.
she played a very good move. What was that? The bishop, the dragon, or the knight d5, I think.
Yes, establishing that that square there.
Yeah, but her queen was like off the game. I think I lose only the games that I'm winning.
And to you, Robyn, so yeah, you had a rough start, but you seem to be very tenacious. You never give up. And how do you keep your nerve? I mean, you were in a tough position for a very long time. Once you managed to establish that d5 square hold, then there was suddenly some life. But for a long time, myself and Daniel was like, oof, this tough. So what's your thoughts on the game?
I just tried to get my pieces as active as I could because I mean my queen moved, my queen had to go back and then to a7 again, so I wasn't sure about that so much. And then also my king saved the whole time, so I had to think quickly, and I was also under time pressure as well. So yeah, it was tough.
Okay. Just a question, or maybe a comment. It's Khadidja. It seems like you've kind of figured out a bit of theory to the game yourself. I've noticed that in the previous game and in this one, you've started creating your center with c6 and f6 in the previous game, and now c3 and f3. So some theory ideas popping up. So very interesting. I think with more tournaments we play, we'll discover what's good and what's not good. But it's a tough loss for you, Khadidja, because you were in a very nice position. So hard luck on that. But on the other hand, well done as well to you, and well done to Robyn for scoring another victory and for absorbing all the pressure and then coming out and actually grabbing the win like that. Great stuff. Well done. Daniel, do you have anything or comments or questions for the ladies? This is their last game, so this is the end for the both of them.
No, I think you pretty much covered it there. I was going to ask about the Dragon E7.
Yeah.
That was what was missed, but I think you already mentioned that. I think, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no,
unfortunate.
I
I also missed it at
miscalculated
first.
that one, but she miscalculated to take my my dragon at the end. It was dragon E4, and then
Yes.
I can't take back the. So it's check, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you
yeah.
take my
Calvin
dragon
mentioned
on
that one.
G5,
Calvin
and that's
Calvin
why.
mentioned that.
So I do
Yes,
see
yes.
things, but
Yes.
I miss still calculations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
tactics.
mostly it's the dragon tactics again, yes, that
Yeah,
decide.
it is.
So yeah, but thank you for entertaining us. Let's look at the standings. I haven't updated it physically here on the sheet, but guys, so Robyn scores another point that takes her to 3 points. Khadidja now stands on 2.5 still, so Robyn just passes her by half a point. And I think with that situation, Khadidja was the only one that could catch up to Lauren. So Robyn actually did her sister a favor. So it seems like Robyn is uncatchable right now. So a slight early congrats to Lauren. She has the one game to play still, but yeah, well done Robyn, well done Khadidja. You guys have entertained us with lots of good games, and yeah, I think we're all gonna be entertained for a long time with these, and we're looking forward to more. So yes, thank you very much for also participating. We will look at the standings after the next game. To the viewers out there, it is there's one more game left. It is Lauren versus Jessie with the last game, and Jessie of course would like to win because she would like to join Robyn on 3 points, and then there might be and then there will be a tie break played for second place. But if Lauren gets a half a point or more, then I don't think there will be any tie breaks. But we'll figure it out along the way. But thanks, Daniel, for joining me. Daniel will be with us for the last game as well. And thank you so much, Khadidja and Robyn.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the day, guys.
Thanks, well played.
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.